Today, I'll share an incredibly simple yet effective communication strategy with women. On one hand, it will help us maintain our composure, and on the other, it will encourage women who interest us to invest in the interaction and gradually develop feelings. At first, you might think this is too suspiciously simple to actually work, but listen until the end. There are some key nuances. Step 1. We take a 24-hour period, whether you've just started messaging or have already met a few times. During this time, we establish a clear, precise calibration of every action in response to her behavior. For example, if today is Monday and she initiates a message, you respond in kind if you wish. If she expresses her emotions or says something pleasant, you reciprocate on the same day, not another. This timing is crucial. Likewise, if she delays her reply by 2 hours, you do the same, regardless of the reason. If she doesn't message first, you don't either. There is, however, one exception. When it comes to planning meetings or progressing in the relationship, the man should take the initiative. This isn't an issue at all, quite the opposite. I'll explain why shortly. Why does this work? In one of my previous videos, I mentioned the 70-30 attention ratio, but many misinterpreted it. Some tried to act uninterested, forcing detachment, and ended up looking unnatural. The result? Women either withdrew or felt lost about how to behave. With absolute calibration, there are no games, no artificial distance, and no imbalance. You can't go overboard, nor can you seem desperate. The only challenge is maintaining this approach consistently, which requires awareness and sensitivity in communication. This strategy also creates positive reinforcement, a key psychological factor. Some might ask, but isn't this a weak position? Number. There's one additional factor that shifts the balance in your favor. You must always be the one to conclude interactions. If you're chatting, you end the conversation first. If you're on a call, you set a time limit and wrap it up. If you plan a meeting, you decide the duration, and occasionally, not every time, you ignore one of her calls or cut it short before calling back a few minutes later. It may seem like a small detail, but it subtly shifts the power dynamic. Think back to the feeling you had when you heard endless ringing from someone you were eager to talk to. The same principle applies here. This slight imbalance makes it clear who is more invested in maintaining communication. One final, crucial point. You never initiate discussions about relationships. You don't suggest exclusivity or push for progress. She will take that step on her own. Your only job is to follow these guidelines and observe the results. I know this might raise questions, but before doubting it, try it yourself. Often, when men attempt to manage the balance of power in relationships, they end up faking confidence instead of genuinely embodying it. To truly operate from a position of strength, you must meet 4 key conditions, not dictated by women, but by your own lifestyle and mindset. Value your time. Everyone claims to know this, but do you really believe it? The easiest way to check: divide your day into 2 columns. In one, list wasted time, pointless scrolling, TV, aimless socializing. In the other, list activities that actually benefit you. Only a man who genuinely values his time can command respect. The power of choice. Imagine you've been saving up for your dream car, and there's only one available at a dealership. The salesperson sees your eagerness and raises the price, knowing you'll take it. Compare that to shopping when multiple options exist. You have the power to walk away and negotiate. The same applies to dating. A man who recognizes his options moves differently. Emotional balance. Many men lack hobbies or passions, leading them to seek all their emotional highs from a woman. The result? Over-attachment, overthinking, and unnecessary emotional dependence. A man who already has a fulfilling life will never become desperate for one person to provide all his emotional needs. A meaningful mission. Most men feel a deep desire to contribute or achieve something significant. Unfortunately, many misplace this energy, dedicating themselves to fixing relationships instead. They make it their life's mission to change, love, or prove something to a woman. Instead, this energy should be directed into something bigger: work, creativity, self-improvement. When these four areas are solid, everything else falls into place effortlessly. Try it out, see the results, and let me know your thoughts.